welcome to a new episode of Rustie Sheep. My name is Inez and I live in a city called Beneto. If you're a new viewer, welcome. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. I think it's about 2 weeks ago, something like that, since I recorded the last episode. So I'm getting up to speed. In the beginning, I used to record like every week, and now I think it's like every month, maybe, if I'm allowed to say that. So yeah, so first I want to talk about I have two finished objects. I have some acquisitions and a new project on the needles. So I have a lot to cover today. First, I want to talk about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a boxy. Yeah, I think it's a boxy from Hoagie Locatelli. I always have issues with pronouncing that name, but well, I love this. This is my in-between sweater. I love the flow. I am maybe thinking of knitting another one, but the thing is, a lot of yarn and you knit it from the bottom up. But now that I think of it, this would be perfect to try on my knitting machine once I learned how to use the knitting machine. I have made some room in the living room to place a knitting machine, but I still need to buy a side table. I actually had a desk in mind. A friend of mine is moving to France and she had a lovely antique desk. And she was like, "Oh, do you fancy having this desk?" I was like, "Hell yeah, it's a beautiful desk." So actually last weekend I drove to Brussels and it just didn't fit the car by 2 centimeters. That's like a half an inch. It didn't fit my car. And I could fit it in, but couldn't close the boot. So I don't want to drive on the highway with my boot open, and even couldn't like put it down a bit and then maybe close it with a wire or something. It just didn't go in. And I was like, yeah, it's too risky, it's too dangerous for me to drive with my boot open the whole way. It's like 80 kilometers. I think about 50 miles, something like that, a bit more than 50 miles. So for me, there was yeah, no, I cannot do that. And it's a highway, so a motorway. So we're allowed to drive 120 kilometers an hour. So no. And then I started like asking around, like all my friends, do you have a big car? Could that maybe fit in? I only need like 2 more centimeters. I was like, maybe. So I asked my friend and he was like, no, I have a brick car, but it's longer, but it's actually smaller than your car. I was like, yeah, no. The width, it's not a problem. The length, it's not a problem. It's the height. So then I asked another friend because she has like a bigger model, like a car who's a bit higher. It's not like a cheap version, but just a bit higher. But I measured her space as well. And she had actually less than me, a lot less than my car. So I was like, yeah, no, I think it's too bad. So I texted my friend saying, so I'm so sorry because I really love the desk, but I have no way to transport it. It's all the way in Brussels, and I cannot ask my dad to drive there. It's a long way from his home. I think it's an hour and a half drive for where he lives, and yeah, I couldn't do that. And also, it's a really busy city, and she really lives in the center of the city, and I'm used to driving there, so for me that's no issue. But yeah, so I need to go to the store, to the furniture store. Furniture. Oh my God. I look a bit tired. My hair is a bit messy today. Um, but well, I'm going to take a long bath after I went for a walk. I'm meeting my family for a walk. It's so in Belgium we're allowed to like be with 4 people in total when you walk outside or when you're outside. So we're going for a walk today. So I will be happy to see my stepsister and my parents. But actually, I've seen my parents last weekend. And yeah, it was just, I'm really looking forward to that, having just go outside. It's lovely weather here now. The funny thing is, last week when the last time, sorry, when I recorded, it was so snowing outside, and now it's like spring weather. It's like 15 degrees. It's amazing outside. So I feel like, all the flowers are coming out. It's way too soon, I know that, but I have that feeling. You hear the birds. Yeah, that spring feeling, and I'm really grateful for that, and I love that feeling. So I went to the ocean yesterday. So yeah, and just go for a walk on the beach, and it was amazing. I wore my jacket, and after 5 minutes, I was like, "Oh my God, this jacket is so heavy. I want to take it off, but then you have to carry it around." So, okay, enough babbling for today. Actually, I do want to say something else about my personal life. I've talked about it in the past in previous episodes. Like, I have endometriosis. I had a huge operation last year. Actually, it was the beginning of February 2020. I had that operation, and it was my yearly checkup. Now it will be yearly. Before it was like every 3 months, but now it was like a year after my operation. And then, firstly, I can't believe it's been a year already. And secondly, everything is okay. I was so grateful. I've been struggling with this disease for almost 7 years, and I didn't have the answers before. I didn't have the help, the right treatment. And since I discovered the hospital, everything is going well. My health is okay. Um, Even my thyroid is okay now. They checked my blood, they checked everything. I don't have any cysts anymore. Yeah, that's amazing. It's like the first time in 7 years that everything in this area is cleared. So I said it to the professor. I was like, "Oh, I'm so grateful for this." And I've been telling a lot of people, like, this is a disease. This is a chronic disease that people say 1 out of 10 people suffer from it, but actually the numbers here in Belgium are around, I think, 2 million women. And if you think that we're about with 11 million people in Belgium, so that's almost 1 out of 5. So those numbers are different, like 1 out of 10. So yeah, for me, the awareness is really important. Like, people just like, this is a disease, a chronic disease that hasn't been discovered. I mean, doctors don't really notice it really soon. Most of the time, it's been a long time, and then your whole body, all the organs are attached, or yeah, attached by the disease, attacked by the disease. So yeah, but I felt so grateful. I was so happy. She said, "Oh, I'll see you next year." I was like, so amazing news. Not that I was scared going there, because I feel good going to that hospital. You know, before, in my previous hospital, every time I had to go, I was a bit worried. I was a bit nervous, like anxious, like, what kind of news am I getting today? Because every time I went there was something wrong. And it's like, okay, start this hormone treatment again and this treatment again. And for me, that was so exhausting. And, not getting the information that you need and that you should have. So yeah, every time I go to Leuven, for me that was amazing. Amazing is not. I feel at ease. I feel okay. It is a long drive though, and you have to pass Brussels, which is a really busy point on the highway. Um, but well, I had to drive there on Tuesday, and I got my results on Thursday, and I felt amazing. So, but well, enough chit chat now. Let's talk about knitting. Okay, 2 finished objects. And actually, I forgot the names of my project, so I'll put them on pause for a second. Okay, so the first is the Limerick Henley. I'm just getting it on my phone, by Mary Ann Benedetto. Okay, that was the jumper I was making for my colleague. It's not my colleague anymore. I'm not for my friend Michelle. He actually left a note, a comment on the previous episode. But look at that! Look at that! Amazing, isn't it? Oh, it's a lovely jumper. I did have some issues with this jumper. So remember, I think 2 episodes ago, no, the last episode, I wasn't sure about the front panel, that there was a flap here and I didn't know what to do with it. So whilst I was sewing everything together, everything was blocked, everything was sewing together. I had this flap and I tried to sew it to the shoulder. It was really weird looking here. So I was like, this is not okay. It it's not working. You know, you can feel that sometimes. And I was a bit unsure about it while I was knitting it. I should have trusted my gut feeling. So I read the pattern again, and you know, it was exactly, I did it exactly how the pattern said. But then I started looking on the pictures. I was like, yeah, but they bind off here. Because on one of the pictures, somebody used another color for the collar for the rib. And I was like, yeah, but, and then I could see perfectly where she has where the person binded off a few stitches. So I was like, yeah, no. But the thing is, when I sew everything together, I sew it well. So it was a pain to unrip it because I had to actually unrip until here, a bit lower, until here. But it was all sewed in together. So I couldn't find the thread anymore. So I was like, really? It took me 2 days, you know, to find, to be very careful because yeah, you have the sleeves are connected, the sides are connected. I was like, okay, and it took me a long time. And I was on the phone with Lisa while I was doing that at a certain point. I was like, at this moment, I just want to take my scissors and cut it through, you know. And she was like, no, patience, patience. So I just set it aside and for no, I didn't set it aside. I was like, while I was talking with her, I found like a thread here, and then I was like, okay, you know what? I'll just loosen up because my plan was just to like get this loose, get loose until here, and then I can rip it out and pick up the stitches. But then I found the thread like halfway here, and I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna loosen that. You know, it's the beginning. I can start. And actually, it was a thread that went all the way up here, so I was lucky at that point. But so what I did, I picked up the stitches from here because there's a rip here, and I know exactly where in the pattern where I was, you know, when I am doing this rib. So I picked up this just before the last row of this rib, and I know and did the last row, and then I had to redo everything here. But I'm really happy with the result now because yeah, and I actually added some buttons. No, I still have to add buttons, but buttonholes here. Not sure how that will fit, but it's supposed to be a high neck, so. But anyways, it's an amazing sweater. I used 11 balls of yarn for it, and I do have 2 spare, but maybe I'll just make another hat in this pattern for him. So he has another hat. But look at that. Sorry. Yeah, I live close to a hospital and a police station and a fire station. So that's good if I ever have something going on, but yeah, I have that noise a lot. So yay! The Limerick Henley sweater. He will be so happy. So, sorry. Remember, I also picked up some yarn, some grays of green for a dinosaur sweater for his son. So I think he dropped by on Monday. Did he? I'm not sure. So, and then with his son, and I could fit it, like I did the ribbing already, and I wasn't sure if it would fit over his head because I thought it was a little small. So while his kid was here, I tried it on, and he was really happy, you know, as kids are. So, I'm going to show you my second finished object, a dinosaur jumper. It's still a bit damp. But look at that, some dinosaurs on there, T-Rex. How cute. I do wish we've picked a darker color because it's not that easy to see, but I was thinking of maybe embroidered around it. So it would be better, you would see it better, but I'm not sure. But Two jumpers. Okay, a male size and a kid size, but well, two jumpers anyway. I finished it this actually yesterday. I did a sleeve like in the morning. I was like really powering through because he was supposed to pick it up this morning, but then later in the day he texted me that he wasn't able to come by. So there you go. A T-Rex jumper. I really think it's cute to knit for kids, you know. It goes quick and it's always nice to see them. And yeah, so those are my finished objects. I have some acquisitions, and the acquisitions, I'm happy with all of them. And yeah, they were quite expensive. Um, I think around my birthday, I was going to treat myself to a needle set. Jaiko needles. Ooh. But then I decided, oh, let's do it for Christmas. And then around Christmas, I was like, oh, I'm getting a bonus. So, and then with the bonus, and then I lost my job, and it was like, yeah, I'm not doing it right now. So for me, it was like, okay, when I sign my new contract, I am allowed to buy it. It's a treat for myself. I've been wanting this for ages. So for me, it was okay. And actually, I did order it on the same day that I signed my contract. And ta-da-da, my Chago needles. Look at that. I ordered the small set. I am already using one. So it starts from 2.75 a US 2 and goes to a 5 millimeter needle, a US 8. I already have a US 1, a 2.5 millimeter needle when I went to actually reordered it through another website. So I was looking at the other side, it's like room space for the other needles, but that's for later, that's for in the future. It has a nice pocket where the cables are being held. You get like a blocker, like the connectors, and then the pins to fasten your needles. Also got a gauge, and I had some stitch markers as well, but they're in the couch. So, but yeah, I ordered it through Alexandra from Wolbeest. I had a look on Amazon as well, and they were there as well and a bit cheaper. But then with the VAT, the taxes, and the shipping, it was just better to order them via Alexandra. And also, I rather order something like that. It's a nice, it's not cheap, those needles. And I rather support like someone, a local yarn shop. She's actually indie dyer, Alexandra, but she has a small web shop as well. And I'd rather support somebody like that than just order it through Amazon. So, and I love them. I've been using them actually with the Limerick sweater when I had to pick up the neck. I was like, yeah, my Trigo needles. These are my favorite needles at the moment. Um, yeah, so first acquisition, and I'm really, really happy about this, as you can see. So my Trigo needles. Then I knew that I was almost going to finish the jumpers. I was like, yeah, I want to knit a new jumper for myself, but I have a lot of stash, but not enough, not sweater quantities. So, because I rather choose my yarn as dedicated to the project that I'm knitting on or that I want to make. So I don't have a lot of sweater quantities in the house. I have a lot of single skeins. I have a lot of sock yarn, but not sweater quantities. So I had to go to the yarn shop again. I went to Wolder, where I always go with Adeline's, and I did it actually last week on Saturday when I was driving back from Brussels. Yeah, I did that. And I picked out the most amazing color. Oh, it's an L, my go-to yarn. Actually had to make a tough decision. I love the color from Barham U and it's called Endeavour. But I was calculating its DK weight and with the meterage that I needed, I had to buy 5 skeins. That would be around €100. And I think it was like, yeah, no, I'm not willing to spend that much money because I already bought the needles. And, I still have my savings and so, but I could afford it. But I had to make a decision. Like, I allow myself to, I treat myself and I allow myself to splurge a bit, but I already splurged on the needles. So, well, I decided to go for this color, this brand, but I did compensate a bit. I also bought some sock yarn. Can you see it? Let me put it up higher. It's an amazing sock yarn. It's called Wolmetverve. It's I've never heard of it. I saw it at the yarn shop the previous time I went there. It's called After Eight Candy, like the candy, the chocolates with the minty flavor. Um, Actually, the time I went with Michelle to the yarn shop to buy his yarn, I saw this colorway and I fell in love with it. And I was texting my friend Lisa. I was like, "Oh, it's €20. What should I buy? Should I buy it? Shouldn't I buy it?" And I held myself. I was good. But now because I compensated, these are €3 a bowl. I only needed I needed about 11 skeins bulls. So that's €33. And with this 20, it's like 53. It's still, I saved €50 now. Doesn't count like that. I don't, well, whatever. But those two acquisitions, this is going to be such a beautiful pair of socks. Oh, can't wait. So yeah, it's 75 superwash virgin wool, 25% nylon. It's got 420 meters in a 100-gram skein. It was apparently hand dyed in the Netherlands using light fast and wash fast dyes. So it's all written on here. So, well, yeah, we'll be making a nice pair of socks. So I bought this, and now you must be wondering what I'm going to make with it. I already started, of course, but I just started yesterday. Actually, this way. And those are the stitch markers who were delivered with my Jaiku needles. Look, I am making the cherry puff. Yes, the cherry puff sweater from Skeindeer Knits. Um, It's got puff sleeves, and I'm really looking forward because I'm already working on it. And it's got an eyelet pattern in the front. And yeah, I just started it last night. I did a few rows and I also did about 4 or 5 rows this morning. I'm knitting it on a 4.5 millimeter needles. Let me just check how much that is. A US size. It's on a US 7. And I didn't knit a swatch, I never do, but I did calculate my gouge, and I have about 20 stitches on 10 centimeters, so that's okay. And that's what a pattern requires. So, yeah, look, I love this color. Actually, I've never seen this color before, and then I've used this brand so much. Yeah, I can't believe it. I saw it in the shop. I was like, do you know how many you have left? Because yeah, she stacks them, and she was like, oh, I think about 9. I was like, no, I need 11. So well, and I just took them out of the shelf and I counted. I was like, you have 11. She was like, do I? And they were all in the same color, Beth. So maybe her stock is wrong. I don't know, but yeah, I bought all of 11 of them. I was like, this is meant to be. This is my color. So yeah. I'm a bit a yarn addict. We all know that. We all love that. So I can't wait. And I actually have the next project in mind as well. But first, I need to make a deal with myself that I need to knit 5 pair of socks first before I'm allowed to knit any jumper. I know what jumper I want to knit. I know what yarn I want to use, but actually the yarn is out of stock. So maybe I have to wait anyway until it's back in stock, or maybe I can send an email to the shop asking if she needs to order those skeins for me as well. I will do that, of course, but you know, I'm just deciding this right now, but I'm not going to buy yarn anymore, until the end of March. 5 weeks, I know I've done this before, but I need to go through my stash because it's all over the house, honestly. When I buy yarn in those bags, I just leave it in the bag because I have no more room to place it. I have no more room to stock my yarn. And I can only fix that when I go through my yarn. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, you heard it first here. No buying yarn in March. And I'm also starting a new job, so I think that will take a lot of my time as well. I still have to paint. I still have, okay, I still have 1 more week before I have to go back to work, but I still have so much to do. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna round up. It's been 26 minutes. Me babbling, being me. Okay. So, okay, I just dropped my ball. So it's time to wrap things up, and I would like to thank you for watching this episode. Have a lovely day. If you're in the part of the world you also have spring weather, enjoy. Just maybe if you have time, sit outside with your knitting and just sit and enjoy the nature. Of course, you need to be you need some warm clothing for that, but if you're going to sit down, it will be cold after a while. But I hope you have the time to enjoy outside, and I will edit this podcast after I've went for my walk. So hopefully you can add some nice pictures from where I'm going. Bye bye.
Je moet bij de groep blijven, hè? Als je versmoort, zie met die.
Okay, so that is my dad talking.